Oh, hey, welcome to the Industrial Revolution Unit Test Read session provided by the magnificent Mrs. Chau. I'm so glad to hear that you are excited to, or that you have chosen to listen to the sweet melodies of my voice as you take this test. Real quick, I am hoping this is going to work, and I'm making promises before I figured it out. But you should have the questions down below here. You should be able to like skip ahead, go back and forth to where the questions are. The reason I added that feature is so that you can go back and re-listen to a question that you need to, or you can listen to it multiple times, or you can skip it and come back. Use this test, take this test, use the features just as you would as if you were taking it independently. It's 35 multiple choice questions. The part 2 is going to be in Google Forms. It's posted in Google Classroom. It's under the same tab this one is. So good times. It is bedtime in the Chau household. I am reading this to you right now, so I don't have to do bedtime because it takes forever. So if you hear children screaming, I promise there's no children were harmed in the making of this video. I miss Springboard. Okay. I was just about to ask if there's questions, but you're watching a video and I can't hear you. So that's great. Here we go. I have to share my screen. I think I do this. I just click this. I'll just do entire screen. Here we go. We're going to do this. It's fine. We know what we're doing. What am I doing? I don't want to ignore. Oh, I don't know. Okay. Anyways, what happens if I go here? Oh, this is what I wanted. Okay. Hey. So the Industrial Revolution Unit Test. I'll call that like a last topic, like Chau rambling. Let's pretend that last part didn't happen. Someone will have to show me how to use CapCut so I can edit this. All right, here we go. Industrial Revolution Unit Test. 35 multiple choice questions, 2 part 2s. Let's boogie. Directions. Read each question carefully and choose the one best answer. Write your answer on the line and bubble in the answer sheet on your Scantron. Only your Scantron will be graded for part 1. Topic. Early Industrial Revolution. Memory joggers. The Industrial Revolution, a period of rapid growth in using machines for manufacturing and productions. In the early Industrial Revolution, people began searching for how to make things faster and cheaper, began using machines to manufacture goods. Major inventions. Interchangeable parts make machine work easier. Telegraph makes communication easier. The plow makes farm work easier. Sewing machine makes textiles easier. Transportation improvements. The steamboat makes river travel easier. Railroads makes land travel easier. Canal systems makes water travel easier. Okay, I'm going to highlight the question as I read it. Number 1. Interchangeable parts were important because they made repairs faster and cheaper, increased production costs, required skills craftsmen, slowed down assembly. Interchangeable parts were important because they, number 2, the canal system's primary benefit was provide drinking water, creating hydroelectric power, moving goods cheaper and faster, preventing floods. Number 2. Number 3, which transportation advancements allowed manufacturers to send goods to distant markets more efficiently? Horse-drawn carriages, transcontinental railroad, hot air balloon, ocean liners. Oh, this one's a tricky one. Here we go. I'm going to zoom out for this one. Okay, so for this one, we have is for questions, base your answers to question 4 and 5 on the graph below and your knowledge of social studies. Our graph is the gross earnings of the railroads. We are looking at the hundreds, thousands, millions. We are looking at the numbers in the millions for the years 1860, 1870, and 1880. In 1880, what was the approximate gross earnings of the railroads? 100 million, 350 million, 500 million, 550 million. Number 5. What caused the rapid growth of profits in the railroad industry? More railroads were being built to meet the demands of shipping goods. After the Civil War, we needed to create jobs, and the railroad industry hired many veterans. President Lincoln needed the railroads to be built quickly to help the North win the Civil War. John D. Rockefeller invested most of his money in railroads, helping them to grow. Okay, next topic, the Second Industrial Revolution. Memory joggers. Oh, I gotta make it bigger because my eyeballs can't see. Okay, memory joggers. I'm gonna go a little bigger because my eyeballs are really bad. All right, there we go. Second Industrial Revolution. Memory joggers, changes in power from steam and water power to electricity, caused a growth in population due to immigration. Factories began to produce more goods. Goods were made faster and cheaper. Number 6. The Second Industrial Revolution was characterized by decrease in factory production, return to handmade goods, a rise in electrical power, decline of transportation. Excuse me. Number 7. What was the primary power source that replaced steam and water power during the Second Industrial Revolution? Nuclear power, solar power, electrical power, or wind power? Number 8. All of the following factors helped the United States become an industrial nation in the late 1800s, except new inventions, large number of immigrants, forced labor by Native Americans, plentiful natural resources. Here we go. Number 9. What did an increase in the number of factories lead to? An increased dependence on products made in homes, a decrease in levels of water and air pollution, the development of cities, a reduction in immigration from Europe. Okay, we are going to take a break so we can have a word from our sponsors. Honestly, it's just because the girls went to bed and I want to have some ice cream. I'll be right back. Wait, how do I stop this? This call. Nope, hang on. Turn off, no, how do I? There we go. BRB. Jump scare. Whoa, jump scare to Mrs. Chau now being at Hamburg Middle School. All right, so we're going to pick off right where we left off. Oh, I am not recording. I'm not sharing my or I am recording. I'm not sharing my screen, so you didn't see that. All right, here we go. Sorry. Here we go. You ready? Okay. Back to question 9. So we are now at mass production, memory joggers. Mass production, making large quantities of a product quickly and cheaply, faster and cheaper. Number 10. How does mass production impact the price of goods? Mass production does not impact the price of goods. The price of goods become more affordable with mass production. The price of goods become more expensive with mass production. The price of goods stays the same with mass production. How does mass production impact the price of goods? We're scrolling to number 11. Which invention allowed for the mass production of goods? Assembly line. Which invention allowed for the mass productions of good? Assembly line, telegraph, cotton gin, spinning jenny. Which invention allowed for the mass production of goods? Number 12, mass production led to higher quality handmade goods, increased production costs, slower manufacturing, cheaper and faster production. New topic, inventions. Here we go. Memory joggers. Inventions made work easier, faster, and cheaper. Inventions were used by robber barons to make more money and to create monopolies. Question 13. Which invention improved communication and allowed for long distance messaging during the Second Industrial Revolution? The telegraph, telephone, radio, television. Which invention improved communication and allowed for long distance messaging during the Second Industrial Revolution? Number 14. Which invention revolutionized transportation during the Industrial Revolution by connecting distant cities? Steamboat, railroad, bicycle, or telephone? Which invention revolutionized transportation during industrialization by connecting distant cities? Don't forget, or don't remember, I should say, you can pause this if you need more time between the questions. I'm just kind of reading quickly to read quickly. Here we go. 15. The development of which energy source played a significant role in the Second Industrial Revolution? Water power, steam power, solar power, electricity. The development of which energy source played a significant role in the Second Industrial Revolution? Water power, steam power, solar power, electricity. Click pause if you need more time. Number 16. Which invention enabled factories to produce more goods by extending hours of production? The telephone opened lines of communication between suppliers and factories. The machine helped workers stay cool in the summer. The ice machine helped workers stay cool in the summer. The light bulb made it possible to consistently light workspaces. The automatic loom allowed factories to produce more woven material. Which invention enabled factories to produce more goods by extending the hours of production? New topic, robber barons. Here's our memory joggers. Robber barons, a wealthy person who tried to get land, business, or money in a way that is dishonest or wrong. Robber barons are rich people who get wealthy by doing bad things. Robber barons, Rockefeller was for oil, Andrew Carnegie was for steel, Cornelius Vanderbilt was for the railroad, J.P. Morgan was for banking, George Westinghouse, power, and Henry Ford was for auto. Number 17. What nickname was given to the powerful and corrupt business owners who became wealthy by exploiting others? Robber baron, assembly line, mass production, or monopoly? Oh, I forgot to highlight that. Okay. Number 18 and 19 are going to be based off of this reading. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the questions. I'm going to read the passage. Then I'm going to read the questions and the choices. Okay. What did Carnegie think about the difference between rich and poor people? Carnegie's ideas sound most like which group? The Gospel of Wealth, Andrew Carnegie, 1889. The problem of our age is the proper distribution of wealth. The difference between millionaires and laborers with us today measures the change which has come with civilization. The change is not to be frowned upon, but welcomed as highly beneficial. What did Andrew Carnegie think about the difference between rich and poor people? It was just part of society getting better. It needed to be fixed right away. It was wrong. It would destroy society. What did Carnegie think about the difference between rich and poor people? Question 19. Carnegie's ideas sound most like which group? Workers' rights leaders, very rich business owners, poor working children, government officials. Question 20. Which of the following is a common critique of robber barons? They donated to charitable causes. They took advantage of workers and employed unfair business practices. They had changed, spelling error. Uh, it's not C. It's not C. They had changed impact the economy. They had impacted the economy. It's fine. It's not C. D, they promoted workers' rights. Which of the following is a common critique of robber barons? They donated to charitable causes. They took advantage of workers and employed unfair business practices. They had impacted the economy. Again, it's not that one. Let me cross it off. It's not C. Don't pick C for, I'm going to tell you that. Remind me, I just wrote it down. And D, promoted workers' rights. Sorry. Henry Ford's major contribution to the industry was inventing the airplane, creating the assembly line for mass production, developing electric cars, or building railroads. Henry Ford's major contribution to industry was. Number 22. Andrew Carnegie is considered a robber baron. Why is Andrew Carnegie considered a robber baron? Andrew Carnegie developed a monopoly in the steel industry. Andrew Carnegie was the CEO and ensured all of his employees had fair and equal wages. Andrew Carnegie was a powerful and corrupt business owner who used ruthless and dishonest business practices to exploit his competition and create a monopoly in the railroad industry. Andrew Carnegie was president of the United States. Memory joggers. Oh, new topic, monopoly, memory joggers. Monopoly, a company that controls all or nearly all of the businesses of an industry, severely cutting competition. Robber barons had monopolies in their industries. 23. In the late 1800s, which of the following helped business leaders eliminate their competition? Economies of scale, land grants, stocks, or monopolies? Number 24. How did monopolies impact industry? Monopolies allow for more competition, which makes goods more affordable. Monopolies make it easier on the small businessmen to get into an industry. Monopolies reduce competition in an industry and make goods more expensive. Monopolies make shipping for goods easier since there is less competition. How do monopolies impact industry? Number 25. Monopolies created by robber barons were criticized as unfair because they illegally restrain international trade, give us little political power to the president of the corporation, used unfair practices to reduce competition and raise the price of goods, prevent stockholders from controlling a corporation's policies. Sorry. Monopolies created by robber barons were criticized as unfair because they illegally restrained international trade, gave too little political power to the president of the corporation, used unfair business practices to reduce competition and raise the price of goods, Prevents stockholders from controlling a corporation's policies. New topic, working conditions and labor unions. Memory joggers, labor unions, an organization that workers join to show their unity and attempt to get better working conditions. A strike, when workers refuse to work until their demands are met. Working conditions in the factories were dangerous. Workers were paid low wages and had to work long hours. Workers formed labor unions to fight for better working conditions. Here's another read one. Got to read questions 26 and 27 based on the excerpt below. I'll read the questions, then I'll read the passage, then I'll read the questions with the options. What was the main problem the inspector saw in this factory? The inspector saw all of these problems except, here we go. The machinery is not properly guarded. I witnessed 3 accidents in 1 hour. The air is thick with cotton dust and the noise is deafening. Workers, including children, labor for 12 hours with no breaks. This is from the source is a factory inspector report in 1895. What was the main problem the inspector saw in this factory? Workers did not get paid enough. Workers kept getting hurt by unsafe machines. The factory was too cold. Workers didn't have uniforms. The inspector saw all of these problems except loud machines, loud noises, dangerous machines, dirty bathrooms, children working. The inspector saw all of these problems except, so he saw all of these problems but one. Which one was it? Number 28. How did workers react to the poor working conditions of the late 1800s? By forming labor unions and going on strike, by starting the Second American Revolutionary War of the American government, by moving out of the country and finding safer jobs, by going to college to become qualified for better jobs. How did workers react to poor working conditions of the late 1800s? Number 29. What was the main goal of the American Federation of Labor and the Knights of Labor? Promoting child labor, supporting monopolies, improving working conditions, preventing industrialization. What was the main goal of the American Federation of Labor and the Knights of Labor? That's a tough one. Here we go. Number 30. How did the labor force change during the Industrial Revolution? Skilled craft people were replaced with unskilled machine operators. Industries began to hire highly educated workers. Workers began to receive health benefits and better wages. Experienced workers replaced children who had been working in industry. Okay, I'm going to make this a little smaller so we can get it in one. Answer to 31 on the photo below in your knowledge of social studies. So the source is January 1st, 1886, workers' strike. The signs say workers' wages not a penny tax on food. Workers suppressed for supporting, I can't read that word. Here we go. Using the above photo, how did factory workers react to the poor working conditions? Factory workers went on strike to bargain for better working conditions. Factory workers moved out of the country. Factory workers worked more hours to earn more money to bribe corrupt managers. Factory workers led a revolution of the American government. Last topic. Woo, woo. Child labor. Memory joggers. Children worked long hours in factories for low wages. Children worked dangerous jobs. Children had to work to make money for their families. Question 32. The primary reason businesses employed children was to provide educational opportunities, to offer career training, to reduce labor costs, to support families. Primary reason businesses employed children was. Okay, questions 33, just 33, on the excerpt below and your knowledge of social studies. I'm going to read the question, I'll read the passage, then I'll read the question. What does the source suggest about working conditions during the Industrial Revolution? I am 12 years old and I worked in the mill for 4 months. I get $2 a week. I start work at 6 o'clock and I quit at 7. We don't stop for dinner. I haven't been to school at all. Sometimes my hands get scratched up from the machines. Source, Child Labor Interview, 1906. What does this source suggest about working conditions during the Industrial Revolution? Workers received excellent benefits. Children had balanced work and school lives. Safety regulations were strictly enforced. Child labor laws did not exist. Base your answer to question 34 on the photo below and your knowledge of social studies. Okay. There's nothing to read. Question 34. The working conditions in this photograph show that the factory cared about children's safety. Children were happy to help their families. The owners put profits before children's safety. The machines were safe for children to use. Last but not least, who was known for photographing and exposing child labor conditions? Thomas Edison, Louis Hines, Andrew Carnegie, and John Rockefeller. I'm going to do a separate video for the part 2. Hopefully this works.